Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Mount Academy. My name is Himal Rawal. Today I'm going to talk about list and dictionary comprehension in Python. It is a really nice feature of Python that you should know about is list and dictionary comprehension. This is just a way to create list and dictionary more compactly. Now let's talk about list comprehension in Python. The basic syntax used to define list comprehension usually follow one of these four patterns. The first pattern is you can use the square bracket and inside of it you can write a value to include, and you can use the for loop for variable in sequence. And another way is you can write a value to include inside the square bracket and for loop in for variable in sequence, and another for loop variable to in sequence too. And another way is to you can write the value to include and using the for loop for variable in sequence, then use the if condition. And another way is to you can write the value and use the for loop and sequence 1 and another for loop variable 2 and sequence 2 and use the condition. I will demonstrate each by each. Now these are the examples of list comprehension. And tip for this list comprehension is you should only use them when they do not make your code more difficult to read and understand. And for first way of creating the list comprehension is you can use the I. This is the value to include and use the for loop for I in range 4 to 15. And as you know already about range function, this is not included 15 and this is the stop condition which is excluded. And another way is to you can convert the ASCII value to characters and use the for loop for I in range from 67 to 80 and convert into the character each by each. This is the list comprehension in Python. And another way is to create the list comprehension is use the inside the square bracket. This is the value to include and this is the for loop for I in range from 2 to 5. That means 5 is not included. And after each iteration, value to include is cube of I. Another way is to create a list comprehension is you can add the I plus j. This is the value to include and you can use the one for loop and you can use the another for loop inside of square bracket. This is the more readable and understandable way of creating the list comprehension. And you can also use this way. This is the value to include and use one for loop and use the condition. If this condition is true, then you can put the final value into k is by h, and this is the list comprehension in Python. The last way is to create list comprehension is you can multiply I multiply j. This is the value to include as I already said in the previous slide, and for I in range this is the for loop and you can use another for loop and make a condition I modulo j equals true. That means this is the output after this list comprehension. Now I am going to demonstrate each by each in the IDEALI. IDEALI is the integrated development learning environment. Now let's open the IDEALI and run the code as I already described. As I already opened IDEALI, and this is the list comprehension. This is the value to include and use the for loop. This is the output. And next way to create a list is, and this is the for I in range 67 to 80. And as you go 67 and 68, 69 increase by 1, then it will convert to letters C, D and E. This is the ASCII value of this letter. As you can see, use the for loop and this is the cube of each element. The next way to create, you can add the I plus j, use the one for loop and use the another for loop, and this is the output. And another way to create the list comprehension is this is the value to include and this is the for loop. If this condition, if a modulo 2 equals 0, then final output is this one. Again, you can multiply I and j and use the one for loop and use the another for loop, use the condition inside the list comprehension. This is the more readable and understandable way to create the list comprehension. Now let's dive into the dictionary comprehension in Python. The basic syntax that we need to use to define the dictionary comprehension is key value. As you can see here, this is the key value and this is value. As I already described about this what is dictionary in the previous videos, and this is the key in the dictionary, this is the value in the dictionary, and use the for loop inside the curly brackets. This means this is the syntax of dictionary. You can make more compact, readable and more understandable way of code using dictionary comprehension. And another way is to create dictionary comprehension is this is the key in dictionary and this is the value in dictionary and separated by colon, and this is the one for loop for this is the variable which will be updated. This is the sequence, that is iterable. Condition will make this is the key value in the dictionary comprehension. This is the basic examples of dictionary comprehension. Here we have some examples of dictionary comprehension. This is the variable. As you can see here, I will describe in the IDEALI one by one. now I'm going to just describe the example. This is the container of dictionary comprehension. This is the value to include. That means x is the key and x to power 2. That is the square of 2 is the value, and use the for loop for x in list. This is the list of numbers from 1 to 5. Again, this is the final output. Another way is to create the dictionary comprehension is inside the curly bracket. You can use the key and this is the value, and you can use the for loop for x in range 10. Range 10 means by default start from the 0 and up to 10, not including 10. 10 will be excluded, and if this condition will be made x cube modulo 4 equals to 0, then print the new dict, and this will be the output of dictionary comprehension 0 and 0. So the examples by writing the code, as I already wrote this code, and this is the my dict variable. Inside the curly brackets you can use the value to include and use the for loop, and this is the key in dictionary and this is the value in dictionary, and use the for loop, and this x is the variable and this is the list which is sequence or which is iterable. And if you want to show what will be the output, and you can just write a variable, that is my dict. Inside my dict we have a variable. This is key and this is value, and this is key and this is value, and like that. And again you can make the dictionary comprehension in the another way, like this is the key and this is the value. This is the value to include, and use the for loop. This is the x is variable, and use the range function 10. From by default range function can start from 0 to 9. That means up to 10, not including 10. And if this condition will be made, then the output will be into this value to include, and this is key and value pair in dictionary. And if you want to access this output, and you can just write the new dict variable, and by writing new dict variable you will see the output in this ideally. Thank you so much. Happy coding. Do like, share and subscribe my channel. If you want to need my note after like, share and subscribe my channel, directly message to me in the social media that I have given into the description, and you will get the code. Thank you so much.